Despicable Me 3 is directed by Kyle Balda, Pierre Coffin, and Eric Guillon, and written by Cinco Paul and Ken Dario, and it stars the voice talents of Steve Carell, Kristen Wiig, and Trey Parker, among others. In this movie, Lucy and Gru get fired from their jobs after failing a mission to capture Balthazar Bratt, a former TV child star who has grown up to become a supervillain after his show was cancelled. That is actually the plot of this movie, and it's awesome. Meanwhile, as they're having some financial troubles due to not having a job, Lucy and Gru find out that Gru has a twin brother. His twin brother was separated from him at birth, and one of them stayed with their mother, Gru of course, and Drew stayed with their father. And with this, we get a new dynamic added to the team, to the family, and this movie is good. This movie is just on par with the others as 1 was on par with 2. These characters still work very well. The comedy works very well with these characters. And the charming element also works. There's a real loving bond with this family of Gru and the little girls and Lucy. And you get to explore how Lucy and the girls get along. You get to explore them seeing her as their mom. And you really get to see that bond grow and develop in this movie. Especially Lucy and Margot. Those two are especially good together. But Agnes also has a lot to go through in this movie because she's the purest one of them all. She's the youngest, and you really get to see this girl do some real loving things, but still be herself that you cannot help but go, aww, as you are watching it. It's real cute, real funny, and the relationships, again, are so endearing, as is the relationship of Gru and Drew. These two bring a lot out of each other. Together, they are pretty funny. But as far as Drew is concerned, we'll get to him in a little bit. Also, the Minions go through some stuff in this movie, and it's really funny. It's really wacky and out of nowhere, and you cannot even begin to guess how the writers came up with this idea to have the Minions do the things they do in this movie. But that's how they work best. Not in their own movie to create a structure of a narrative, but within the movie about Gru and his family and whatnot, the Minions work perfectly well. This movie also has a lot of references to other movies right from the get-go. When Lucy and Gru are after Balthazar Bratt in the beginning of the movie, you get a shot from under the sea, and that's all I'm going to say. There's also some references to a great space opera that I can't quite remember the name of. Please help me in the comments. But yeah, the characters work, the relationships work, the dynamics work, and are different dynamics because now you have Gru and Drew going against Balthazar Bratt, which is really a funny villain. I really like this villain. It's not the best villain of the franchise, but it's not the weakest either. I still think, despite maybe being the best movie overall, the first movie had the weakest villain. This one is so funny. He is very 80s. The soundtracks he listens to, just everything about him, and even a certain person that he makes fun of, a real life person that he makes fun of without really being that person directly, it just works. Everything this guy does works. Everything about him works. His charisma, just everything. Especially his voice by Trey Parker. It's really, really good. But the movie does have flaws. Gru and Drew work well together, but Drew really gets annoying after a while. If you're just focusing on Drew, and they really do hammer in on Drew at some point in the movie, when he and Gru have to do something together, you're just asking yourself, I know that Gru isn't the brightest mind on the world, but seriously, you should have not allowed Drew to do certain things that he does in this movie. It just gets annoying because it's too much. They go over a certain line of, it's supposed to be annoying because it's annoying to the main character, but it just goes over the line. I personally did really get annoyed after a while with him. Also, the Minions, they work in what they're here to do, but at the same time, you feel like you had too much of the Minions, and you feel like you didn't get enough of the Minions in terms of what they are in these movies to do. They disappear for too long, and then what they end up doing for a while, as funny as it is, I really cracked up, really has nothing to do with the story. Really, the Minions in the other movies, they are funny as hell, but they always are within the story of the movie. They are always following the same path as the characters. They are always involved with the plot somehow. And for a while, for the longest time, the middle portion of when they are on screen really didn't have anything to do with the rest. They begin somewhere interesting, they end somewhere interesting, but I really didn't agree with it. but midway through, it just seems like they were lost and they had to fill up some time for them to go on that journey that they end up going. Balthazar Bratt also is another character that for a little while he disappears. You have to develop the relationship between Gru and Drew, but for a while I really wanted to focus in on the villain because there's something that he does specifically that I really wanted to be a little bit more with him, and as such a great comedic villain as he is, I really wanted to get a little bit more of the character. As I said, Drew gets kind of annoying, and his character seems to make decisions based on what the plot requires. There's something that he does here for a certain character that you really don't have a relationship between him and that character. I'll not spoil anything, but the ending of this movie really felt like we have no idea how to end this, but we don't want to end this in the most expected way, so let's do this shocker thing and really give no conclusion to this movie. I'm not saying I don't like it because it's unexpected. I like unexpected finales. I can like expected finales. But it just felt abrupt. The writing, the pacing, just how everything flowed in that finale sequence. The very ending of this movie felt very rushed, felt very abrupt. But I enjoyed the movie, and I enjoy the prospect of the future for this franchise because they are still good. They are, every single one of them, on par with each other. Gru is still a great character, Lucy is still a very funny character, the girls are adorable, their relationships grow and develop even further, and that's what makes these movies work. Also, the minions keep on being funny as secondary players in these stories, and because of that, I will say, and for the third time, Despicable Me, in this case number 3, is a martini. It is a good time, anytime. What did you think of Despicable Me 3, my beautiful geekies? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Do you like the other movies? Which one is your favorite? Counting number 3 if you have seen it, counting number 1 and 2 only if you haven't seen the new one. Let me know in the comments below and go to the description to check the link to the beautiful Geeky Community Facebook group. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the freaking best. I love you all so much. Tomorrow I return with Geek Classic with my review of Spider-Man 2, so I hope to see you there. And until then, you stay beautiful, you stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and the bell so we can be geeky united!